Baruch Dayan Ha'emet. Blessed be he, the judge of truth. I'm Rabbi Jay Streer, friend and schoolmate of Lisa and Jason and Terrence, and I'm honored to be joined by my colleague and mentor, Rabbi Stephen Foster. Torat Emet Hayta Befiu. True instruction was on his lips, and he did not give voice to injustice. He walked with Adonai in peace and honesty, and he turned many away from transgression. L'chol zman ve'et, l'chol chetbetz tachat hashamayim. A season is set for everything, a time for every experience under heaven, a time for planting and a time for reaping, a time for keeping and a time for discarding, a time for loving and a time for hating, a time for embracing and a time for refraining, a time for slaying and a time for healing, a time for laughing and a time for weeping, and a time for dancing, and a time for wailing, and a time for birthing, and a time for dying, a time for speaking, and a time for silence, a time for seeking, and a time for losing. This is my prayer to you, my God. Let not my spirit wither and shrivel in its thirst for you, and lose the dew with which you sprinkled it when I was young. May my heart be open to every broken soul, to orphan life, to every stumbler wandering unknown and groping in the shadow. Bless my eyes, purify me to see humanity's beauty rise in the world, and the glory of my people in its redeemed land, spreading its fragrance all over the earth. Deepen and broaden my senses to absorb a fresh, green, flowering world, to take from it the secret of a blossoming in silence. Grant strength to yield fine fruits, quintessence of my life, steeped in my very being without expectation of reward. And when my time comes, let me slip away gently, demanding nothing, God, of humanity or of you. There is a Chinese proverb. My grandparents have passed. My parents have passed, and I am happy. There is an expected order in life that years will turn one to the next, and generation after generation will move to memory. Today, with Cole's passing, this order has been broken. Our hearts are broken. So much life to live. So much creativity and kindness to give. So we gather with the deepest of pain to celebrate this unique soul that Cole remains, to bring his being into our own and to reassure Lisa and Jason, Terrence, Mari, Heath, Lily, and Max, and all of Cole's family and friends of the stability and strength found in community. I now invite Lisa to share the words of a prayer for the world, written by Rabbi Harold Kushner.
Let the rain come and wash away the ancient grudges. the bitter hatreds held and nurtured over generations. Let the rain wash away the memory of the hurt, the neglect. Then let the sun come out and fill the sky with rainbows. Let the warmth of the sun heal us wherever we are broken. Let it burn away the fog so that we can see each other clearly, so that we can see beyond labels, beyond accents, gender, or skin color. Let the warmth and brightness of the sun melt our selfishness, so that we can share the joys and feel the sorrows of our neighbors. And let the light of the sun be so strong that we will see all people as our neighbors. Let the earth, nourished by rain, bring forth flowers to surround us with beauty. And let the mountains teach our hearts to reach upward to heaven. No person chooses evil because it is evil. They only mistake it for happiness the good person seeks. Amen.
Dear friend Thomas Carr has put together a video montage of Cole's words and images. The images you're about to see are the original images by Cole.
If it don't come true, dreaming is what dreamers do. Heaven's keys on green to blue are never gray. Even if it all goes bust, your pretty pearls are fade to rise. Angel wings to angel dust every day. Worry no more. Oh, worry no more. There's an open door for you. Worry no more. Oh, worry no more. There's an open door for you. When you're walking through the clouds, bottles breaking, angry crowds. Lion tamers can't be found anywhere. I'm listening to the sounds of miles, Spanish sketches, playground smiles, crowded streets and empty vials for all to share. Worry no more. Oh, worry no more. There's an open door for you. Worry no more. Oh, worry no more. There's an open door for you. Worry no more. Oh, worry no more. There's an open door for you. Worry no more. Oh, worry no more. There's an open door for you.
You can somehow choose to do anything, but that seems so naive. Because, like, you can theoretically choose to do anything, but your will has been determined. I don't want to become a ballerina. I could choose to do so, but I won't, because I don't want to, because I've been nurtured a certain way. But now that I've introduced the option to myself, I've changed my will, right? And
Right.
so now I might want to a little bit.
Right.
That's how it works.
Right.
And that's, you are manipulating yourself and yet being manipulated. And ultimately, like,
Free will is tricky.
free will, yeah, it's more complicated than just being, you can do anything. yes, you can theoretically do anything, but you will be nurtured a certain way.
Right.
Through your actions, through others, and it's up to you to
How do you
really control yourself as much as you can.
So how do you apply that to yourself right now? What do you think?
currently,
What have you been nurtured to become?
Well, implementing skills from therapy. Like, that's what I've been doing.
Right.
Due to outside intervention and also myself, like, I attribute this to desperation, wanting to live a normal life. And so because of that feeling instilled in me by certain internal factors, which were influenced by external factors, right? I am able to implement these skills. I am able to change. If I were just living a quietly sorted life rather than extreme suffering, in my opinion, I wouldn't have done this. I wouldn't be implementing any of this. I wouldn't be changing.
You'd just be flowing along.
Yes, and so it's just a constant reaction of cause and effect. And that really, your choices are determined by reality, but that also encapsulates you.
Right.
And so all you can really do in the now is influence your future self. You're gifting yourself with beneficial will. You're your own God, essentially.
Right.
Anyways, that's a large...
I will fight. I will fight for you. I always do until my heart is black and blue. And I will stay with you. We'll make it to the other side like lovers do. I'll reach my hands out in the dark and wait for yours to until I can wait for you. I'll wait for you. 'Cause I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up, no, not yet. Even when I'm down to my last breath. Even when they say there's nothing left. So don't give up on me. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up, no, not me. Even when nobody else believes. I'm not going down that easily. So don't give up on me.
Thank you, Tom. I'm not sure any more words are needed, but there's lots of commentary left, and so we'll continue to celebrate Cole's life. It's my honor to invite Cole's friends, chosen family, Ben and Leo, who will share a few thoughts.
We both have known Cole most of our whole lives. He was old enough and was always that special type of friend that you consider as a family. We both looked up to him. He had high standards and was always either being at his best or trying to be at his best. He was kind, friendly, smart, and funny to us both. And he was always thinking about something. It was fun when he hung out with us, even though we were a bit younger than him. And right now, I remember about this old photo that we took more than 5 years back in Boulder. About 5 of us in total. I'm glad to have that picture in my mind. It'll always be one of the memories I remember of him. We did so many things together, his family, celebrating birthdays, holidays, camps, and vacations. And we're both going to miss doing those things with him.
We'll now hear from Cole's sister, Mary Nettie.
I am so grateful for the thought that my twin brother is my twin sibling. I kind of feel like I'm no longer a twin anymore, but I know that he will always be in my heart and that I will always be in twin by heart. He has always been such a compassionate, insightful, resilient, and humorous brother to me. He's certainly a strong-willed and genuine individual from what I can see. I noticed that we have gone closer over these years during my childhood. My memory is that we went to my old friend's party for a Halloween tradition in the 8th grade. And we were dressed up in cosplay costumes and fight each other with fake swords. He was very into it, as I was. We were doing it for fun. He went through a lot of challenges in his early young life, but I am so pleased to get to know him, and I hope that he rests as well. I will always miss him, and I will always love him so much. He will always be my twin brother.
I'll now share some words on behalf of Cole's father, Terrence, and Cole's mother and father, Lisa and Jason. By Terrence: Cole, my beloved son, we will all miss your light. The courage it took to be so kind makes you a giant among men. You are and will always remain my lion. I know you are in a better place, and that place is better because of you. Rest in peace and visit us often. Nobody gets left behind. Destiny is all. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. I love you, Dad. And from Jason and Lisa. The Last Kingdom is a Netflix series that Lisa and I cherished watching with Cole. It follows the life of Uhtred of Bedenburg, a handsome, courageous, and most respected warrior who faces numerous challenges on his journey back to his rightful land. Uhtred finds himself torn because of his loyalty to both the Saxons and the Danes, bitter rivals and of different faiths. Uhtred's deep compassion for humanity and the yearning for peace between these factions was Uhtred's ultimate concern. He was not to be stopped in his pursuit to find truth, to seek answers, and to find his happiness both for himself and humankind, just like Cole. As parents, we all know that getting our teenagers to engage in any activity with us is daunting. And when you do all connect on something, even watching a TV show, it's kind of magical and you want to do it all of the time. There were several nights where 3 episodes was not a problem. And although Cole loved doing so many things with us, like escape rooms, road trips, camping, fishing, spontaneous dancing, we personally loved our time watching The Last Kingdom together. Not because the accents and the names of these characters provided perfect comedy, although Cole and I, Jason speaking, relished that, and it was because Cole loved it so much. Cole always saw himself as having the burden of being the middleman, but he understood that and accepted it, just like Uhtred. Cole was also the judge in any dispute and debate that we had as a family. Let's bring in the judge, we'd say. Cole would mysteriously emerge from a room as if waiting for this moment, throw some very eloquent and long words together, then mysteriously disappear. All of us left agape and in awe, just like Uhtred would do when the townspeople sought clarity. Cole was judicious. Like Uhtred, Cole was a warrior, a fierce defender of family, loyal to the core, but with numerous battles to constantly fight. And while exhausting at times, like Uhtred, Cole pushed on, always wanting to improve himself. Like Uhtred, Cole needed to find his kingdom again. He had made plans to begin his personal journey in Costa Rica that only began a week or 2 ago, just prior to his passing. Knowing that the fight would not be easy, he pushed through. Courage is finding the will to overcome your fear, nothing more, Uhtred said. Cole had many fears, but like Uhtred, he would not let them rule him anymore. In the Last Kingdom, only the most honorable, courageous, and respected warrior would find his or her resting place in Valhalla, a great hall in Norse mythology where a hero slain in battle found glory, happiness, peace, and an endless supply of sunflower seeds. To the angels that were with Cole when he passed into Valhalla, and to all of you who are touched by this peaceful warrior, Cole embarked on his journey to change his course, like all of us, to seek whatever piece of his young life he needed to propel himself to new heights, and most importantly, to happiness. He went to discover himself, to discover life. Thank you for taking care of Cole for the short amount of time that he graced our presence. It is inconceivable to fathom how this tragedy has touched all of us, and I imagine inconceivable for you to understand what our family is going through. The unfortunate and fortunate truth is that we have now been woven together by one moment in time at Cole's choosing, disrupting the roads that you and we were all paving for ourselves. However, Cole's intention was not to disrupt or throw wrenches. His intention was to shed light on our paths to help guide us to the places he always wanted to go, just like Uhtred. Just let me assure you all that Cole always came from a place of love, compassion, and peace. And I'm sure that each one of you felt that from him. Hard not to. He oozed it like sweet honey. Oz Shalom was Cole's self-chosen Hebrew name. Loosely translated, it means peaceful warrior. Cole was certainly that, a peaceful, wise, and bigger than life warrior like Uhtred. To Valhalla, Oz Shalom. We love you and miss you, and we can feel you all around us. Destiny is all peace. From the words of Cole's bar mitzvah speech, I chose the same words that you read, unknowing that that would be on Tom's beautiful montage. His speech began, "Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of all worlds, who girds me with courage. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of all worlds, who guides my steps." Patient, 13-year-old. These blessings speak to me, Cole speaking, as I've experienced these things and have chosen to walk down a path. I am a quiet person. I'm not a people person. It takes courage to be this way, as our society encourages people to be outgoing, and I'm not naturally that way. Our society does not seem to allow people to have time alone with the time to think. Our society does not allow breathing space. Because of this, people like me can seem odd or different, particularly at this age. We are known as outsiders because we are different in our society. We cling to each other for comfort. This is how we make friends. This is our social life. This is how we live. Friends, I could have begun with the words, "Once upon a time," and I could have woven the tale of a giant, sagely and wise, who dreamt of worlds and ways of peace. Instead, I began with Cole's words of wisdom and insight, the words of an old soul. In the more esoteric dimensions of Jewish mysticism, there is the belief in Gilgul Nishamot, of reincarnation of the soul. In Hebrew, the word Gilgul means cycle or wheel, and Nishamot is plural for souls. Souls are seen to cycle through lives or incarnations, being attached to different human bodies over time. Which body they associate with depends on their task in this physical world. Spiritual levels of the bodies of predecessors, and so on in our collective work and our individual journeys. Nefesh, life force, the conscious aspect of the soul, is invested in action, the most base and the most basic level. Ruach, spirit, aspects of the soul invested in emotion. Neshama, soul, aspects of the soul invested in the intellect. Chaya, living, the transcendent unconscious level of the soul, imbued with light and pouring forth that light. And the highest, yichida, singular, the coalescence and oneness, the essential transcendent root of soul. Not knowing Cole personally, I was struck by the constant tone by all with whom I spoke of Cole. Each said Cole was full of love, a light beaconing forth love, endlessly curious, persistent and tenacious, a tenacious pursuer of knowledge and understanding and of justice. Whether finding a bit of metal in the gutter or disassembling something to understand how it worked, or reading Department of Sanitation from the side of a garbage truck at 2 years of age, he was of another realm. Cole lived in his dreams, but he dreamt of a better here and now. The physical world was his tool chest, words spoken, hued, printed on a page. He was a voracious reader, images drawn or captured on film, and yet his physical sight was diminished in his body, at times unwieldy. He was described as not merely acting kindly, but being the very essence of kindness. Perhaps it is that this second level of the spiritual realm, that of emotion, was one Cole had already mastered. Mastering and personifying his essential being, love and kindness, of insight and hindsight and foresight, Cole was the middle child. So often the case, the middle child serves as adjudicator and protector in his life for Marty and Heath and all those around him, his friends. During disputes amongst friends or at home, as noted by Jason and Lisa, quiet Cole would emerge, stepping into the fray and dispense of his wisdom. Deeply sensitive, Cole not only wore the injustice borne out upon him, but those injustices he witnessed borne out upon others. And there was his courage to step forward for siblings, for friends, and most recently as he embarked on his own journey for himself. Later in his bar mitzvah speech, Cole wrote, "Sometimes we need courage to leap into the unknown and to be part of a larger society. We stand together to fight the coming onslaught. I had a personal experience when I had to do this," as he wrote. Bravery is a big part of this too. Anyone can be brave, but it's hard to be brave at just the right moment when you need it. That's why we have each other. One of us rises up and all of us follow. Friends, in synagogue this past Friday, we read the story of the Jewish people's crossing of the Red Sea. With the Egyptians in hot pursuit, the people of Israel come to the shoreline and stop and cry. God becomes angry. Why do they stop? He says to Moses. Why do they cry? Tell them, go forth, go forth. With Moses' arms raised and the sea not splitting, nothing is moving, only cries, until one person, Nachshon ben Aminadab, steps forth, lurches into the water until his nostrils begin to fill. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, who is like you, creator of all? Mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh, who is like you, majestic in holiness? With courage, one stepped forward. The waters split, and all followed. May it be Cole's courage to pursue kindness and justice that strengthens us all to care for one another and bring peace to our world. From the second book of Samuel, O Lord, my crag, my fastness, my deliverer, O God, the rock wherein I take shelter, my shield, my mighty champion, my fortress and refuge. May Cole's soul continue in its journey as it finds refuge in God's fortress and crag. And let us all say, Amen. Lisa and Jason shared that Cole loved coffee. Perhaps it was his biggest concern about going to Costa Rica. And they shared that they have a rather eclectic array of cups, of mugs. And he would pick his favorite cup or a mug to denote what the day might bring. And one of his favorite mugs had the Optimus Creed on it. So in a moment, I'm going to invite Carolyn Wolpert to read this creed to us. And following that, as Cole noted, it's a loud world, and sometimes we just need space to think. I'm going to invite all of us to take a few moments of contemplation after the reading of the Optimus Creed, and then we'll continue with our service. Carolyn?
Promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. To talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet. To make all your friends feel that there is something in them. To look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true. To think only of the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best. To be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own. To forget the mistakes of the past and press on to the greater achievements of the future. To wear a cheerful countenance at all times and give every living creature you meet a smile. To give so much time to the improvement of yourself that you have no time to criticize others. To be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble.
was played by Laurie Carr, Scott Besaw, and Richard Stevenson. Now invite Samantha Altieri to read a physicist's prayer.
You want to invite a physicist to speak at your funeral. You want a physicist to talk to your grieving family about the conservation of energy, so they will understand that your energy has not died. You want the physicist to remind your sobbing mother about the first law of thermodynamics, that no energy gets created in the universe and none is destroyed. You want your mother to know that all your energy, every vibration, every BTU of heat, every wave of every particle that was her beloved child remains with her in this world. You want the physicist to tell your weeping father that among the energies of the cosmos, you gave as good as you got. And the physicist will remind the congregation of how much of all our energy is given off as heat. There may be a few fanning themselves in their program with their programs as he says it. And he will tell them that the warmth of the flow through life in life is still there, still part of all that we are, even as we who mourn continue the heat of our lives. And you'll want the physicist to explain to those who loved you that you need not have faith. Indeed, they should not have faith. Let them know that they can measure, that scientists have measured precisely the conservation of energy and found it accurate, viable, and consistent across time and space. You can hope your family will examine the evidence and satisfy themselves that the science is sound, and that they'll be comforted to know your energy's still around. According to the law of conservation of energy, not a bit of you is gone. You're just less orderly. Amen.
We'll now view a video tribute to Cole by his dear friend, Andrew Carr.
Hi guys, my name is Cole. I'm a new YouTuber around here.
For all of my life, I've been searching for the girl of my dreams. But now I realize I don't have dreams. I'm being silent like a ninja. Oh my god! It's Chuck Norris!
Not just Chuck Norris. Also, I'm on the ground because
Is it George Clooney?
No, it is not George Clooney.
Oh, maybe Jack Skellington. Did you read my biography? Are you so careless that oh my god, Oh my god, I want a falcon punch something. Hi,
Hello! This is Q&A with Cole the cameraman. Check out my channel with exactly one video. The intrepid Thomas Johnson Jr. says, "Hi, handsome Cole." Totally not Andrew. Who is your favorite character in your movies? Dead body answer. I'm not crazy. Kirby was my favorite character, in case you're wondering. I won't move on until the dead body answers. I'm too impatient. The beautiful Lori McGuire Carr says, "Will we ever get to see Fizzy Pop and Chocolate Head fully reanimated?" The creator is dead right now. He stepped off screen. So no. At least not yet.
The movie option. This is the movie option. Hello, this is Cole, and this is Andrew. And today we are going to be walking around camp. This is the trash bag where I root around for stuff.
I don't know if it's just like blatant conspiracy theorists or anything. You'd think they'd actually be theorizing about the actual danger of it rather than simply claiming it doesn't exist.
Or claiming it came from like a military lab or something.
I don't know about those. I say like
Is it
downplaying the severity of it. That's the worst kind of conspiracy theorist, really. So we were going through some of David's stuff, and I found this cool harmonica, and it was really well taken care of, looks beautiful, and almost seemed untouched, and so I wondered why a guy like David had a thing like this. So we thought it'd be pretty cool if we were to photograph some of the items he had throughout his life, like artifacts almost.
I'm here with Cole Tucker in his last .1 of his half marathon. What do you think, Cole?
I did it. It's happening.
How was the power donut?
Worth it.
And what about the people that came out to support you? How'd they make you feel? Who came out and how did they make you feel?
Tom, the Fingerleys, Jason's mom, Cinderella, which is an awesome name. Mom, Jason, the other Jason, my stepdad. And that's it. It was nice. I'm glad they came out.
Hold on.
I'm glad Tom and my mom here walked the lap with me.
Make sure you aren't being controlled by the Illuminati.
I'm Cole Jackson Tucker, local conspiracy theorist.
Have a good night.
Elohim Elohim, our God and God of all generations. Thou who governest all things with infinite wisdom and mercy, and who guidest the destinies of all of humankind. As a parent have you loved us and showered your blessings upon us. Therefore we shall not murmur even when sorrow befalls us. But with humility and unfaltering trust, we shall accept your decrees. In joy and in sorrow alike, we praise your goodness and acknowledge your justice. We remember that we are but strangers upon earth. Like a shadow, our life flees away. Help us, O God, so to walk in your sight that when the few years of our earthly pilgrimage are ended, we may be ready to meet our end with tranquil mind. To thee we look for comfort and strength when one of our beloved is taken from us and a link is broken in the chain of love which binds us together. Though we walk in the valley of the shadow of death, we shall fear no evil, for you are with us. Be praised, O eternal our God, in all your dispensations, and sanctified be your name, now and forevermore. And let us say together, Amen. Beloved family, dear friends, I'm glad that I have an opportunity to say a few words, and I promise they will be few, after this wonderful last opportunity we had, not just to cry, but to laugh as well. Because that's what this moment is about. It is not just about tears, although tears are plentiful. This is a moment of great sadness. Anytime there is a tragic death, no matter what the cause of that death is, there is sadness, especially when someone is young, is cold. And you, dear friends, you are here. You are here to be supportive of this family. Beloved parents, grandparents, sisters and brothers, aunts, uncles, cousins, friends. You're here to be supportive because you know that they are in pain, even though that pain began just a few days ago. We're almost here at this point, removing that part that just began to heal, and we're removing it again. The one thing that we have to do, dear friends, is to recognize that there are no answers to the questions of why we are here. No answers. Oh, I know that some would say, oh, yes, there are answers. It's something he did, or it's something somebody else did. That's just not true. Stuff happens. And there's a sadness to this world. And we all understand and feel that sadness. We wish that we could say words that would bring comfort to this family. But the truth is, there are no words that make sense. Why? Why in this world do bad things happen to good people? And we've just heard in these last moments how good he was, how comforting he was, how he tried to bring people together, how he tried to utilize his own sense of courage to face whatever it was in life that he needed to face. And so we are here as a community, maybe a little bit to ease the pain, but certainly to help the family to understand we care. We're here as I'm looking around. Many are shedding tears with you and for you, and for themselves, because we begin to look at what life is about. And as we get a little bit older, this generation gets a little bit older, we start to think about the younger generations and what they still can do in life. And what people like Cole can still do, even though his life has come to an end. There is no reason to put an end to his life because his life has come to an end. I've believed for a long, long time that we do not define people by their biography. Their biography defines who they were and what they did. And it isn't how many years we spend on this earth. It's the intensity of the life that we have that makes the difference. And someone like Cole has made life better, not just for this family. He's made this life better for many of you. Now, there are not thousands of people here today. Some would say, why not? He was a young person. He answered that himself. He said, I'm not a people person. He's not the extrovert. Perhaps if he was, there would be many more. But the intensity that you bring with you tells us about who he was and what he tried to do in his highest moments of living. We understand from these days that stuff happens. There are no answers. Yet we're here to support this family, to share tears with them and for them, to remember so many beautiful moments that each of you had with him. I always believe that moments like this are challenges for families especially. And I believe, as I've said so often over the years, and I believe that there are at least 4 tasks for this family, 4, and maybe for the rest of us as well. First task is to grieve. To grieve. We cannot just act as if nothing happened. And grief takes time. You as family have to shed your tears, because that is what you can do. And you can understand that you have been pained. Second task, and I think this is for all of us, we can wonder. Wonder about the beauty of life and the complexity of death. You know, obviously I'm a rabbi, that makes me Jewish. Those who are laughing are Jewish. I'm a rabbi, so I'm Jewish, but you're not all Jewish here. Many of you have different faiths, but I do believe that the task for all of us is to wonder about what it is that happens at a moment like this. There are many, many faith beliefs and many beliefs within every faith. And there is not one that is right for everybody. Some people believe that there is a life beyond this world, and some people believe that there is not. And we're all right. As long as we will take that faith belief that we have and we will live by it. Live to make the world a better place, because that's what he tried to do. He said it in his own words. And so I believe the second task that we have collectively is the task to wonder about this world and the world to come. Third task is to remember. Each of you in your own way, because each of you had a different relationship with him. To remember who he was and how your lives have been affected by who he was. And lastly, and I believe this is most important, and that's the reason we're here, we give immortality to those that have come before us by trying to emulate some aspect of their life, trying to make it real in our own lives. Not just to remember, but to understand that each of the qualities of our loved ones are worth preserving. And they're worth preserving by us making sure that others knew what Cole stood for. So I believe that that's what brings us here together today. In some ways, I suppose it was to celebrate his life. But for me, it's to remember and to emulate what his life was all about, so that he will continue to live. I want to read a poem to you, which I believe, if I were to have asked him, what would you like me to read at the end? He might have said, this is the poem. because I think there's some truth to it. The poem is entitled The Messenger. The poet wrote, I am closer than ever before. As the morning sun rises and throughout the busy day, I am with you. Until the setting sun disappears on the horizon and we watch the day turn into night, I am here. You may feel a faint breeze stir around your head while you slumber as I gently kiss your forehead goodnight. The stars that shine so brightly in my heavenly sky help me watch over you and keep you from harm. I am the wind in the trees and the song of a bird. I am moonbeams in a midnight sky and a glorious rainbow after the storm. I am morning dew and a freshly fallen snow. I'm a butterfly flying overhead and a puppy happily at play. I'm a smile on a stranger's face, a gentle touch, a warm embrace. Listen to the wind for my message of love. Watch the sun rise and set in the sky with me. Feel my essence encircle you with warm memories. Open your heart to know I am not gone. Reach deep into your soul, you will find me. I am here. Have no fear. I am with you always. I believe that that's what the message is about. That as long as we will keep him alive, he will always be here for you and for your comfort. Adonai natan v'Adonai lakach, yehi shem Adonai mevorach. God has given. God has taken away. Praise be the name of God now and forevermore. And let us all say together, Amen. For those of you who are a part of Jewish tradition, you know that there are certain prayers that we say at the end of a service like this. One of them is called El Molei Rachamim, but we will not say that now because of the calendar, because of the time of the year it is, right after Passover. But instead of that, I asked my dear friend, my colleague, Jay Streer, I asked him if it was all right if I picked another piece. Most of the time in a Jewish funeral, especially, and sometimes in other funerals, the words of the 23rd Psalm are used. Why? Because it says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, as if those words make it okay. The truth is, King David is supposedly the person who wrote the Psalm. And I learned a long time ago from one of my professors that King David had something else in mind. And he really had something in mind for family when he wrote the Psalm. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. What he was saying was, don't get stuck in the middle of the valley of the shadow of death. Is this a sad time? Absolutely. Will this go on for some time? Absolutely. But you as individuals, you as family, have to walk through that valley of the shadow of death. That's how we not only recover, but that is how we see the message in those that have gone before us. So I'm going to read the 23rd Psalm in Hebrew, and then I'll say it in English. And if you want to say some words with me, any of those words, if you know, please do so. And then we will conclude the service with Kaddish. Adonai roi lo exor, binot desha yarbitzeni al me menuchot yin haleni. Nafshi yishovev yancheni b'maglet tzedek leman shemo. Gam ki elech begeit samavet. Lo irara ki ata imadi. Shivtecha mishantecha heima yenachamuni. Ta'aroch lefanai, shulchan neged sororai. Dishanta v'shem en roshi kosi ravaya. Ach tov v'chesed, yirdafuni kol yamei chayai. V'shavti b'veit Adonai la'orech yami. For the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of God forever. Lest we be incomplete. The end of a service like this, there is a prayer that we recite. It's called Kaddish. And it is usually recited by the mourners. Who are the mourners? Children for parents. Parents for children. Poo shouldn't happen, but it does from time to time. Brothers and sisters for one another. Spouses for one another. Other people may mourn, but they're not considered to be mourners in our tradition. But the truth is that you're all here because in one way or another, you're mourners. And so I'm going to ask you if you feel comfortable as the family will rise, because we will say Kaddish together. Anyone else who would like to rise and say Kaddish with us, I hope that you will feel free to do so. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah. V'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchuche. V'chaye chonu v'yoch v'chon. V'chaye dechol beit Yisrael. V'agalau v'zman kariv v'yimeru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mivorach le'olam u'le'ol me'ol maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal. Shmei dekutsha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran bi'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Ose shalom b'mramav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. The departed whom we now remember has been called unto the peace of life eternal. He shall still live on earth in the acts of goodness he has performed, and in the hearts of those who will ever cherish his memory. We pray that the beauty of his life will ever abide among us all as a living and loving benediction. And may the source of peace send peace unto all you who mourn, and may God comfort all the bereaved among us, among Israel, among all the nations and the families of earth. And let us all say together, Amen. Kol lich ki shalachach Adonai. Go your way, for God has called you. Lech v'Adonai yeh imach. Go your way, and may God be with you. V'halach lefanecha tzidkecha kavod Adonai yasvecha. May your righteousness go before you, and may the glory of God receive you. And let us all say together, Amen.